All right, so welcome back to another episode of Chief Women Arise. And today I want to talk about, I want to give 5 tips for networking. So whether you have a business or a ministry, I want to give 5 tips for networking. When I first moved here to Jacksonville, I did a lot of networking, trying to meet different people in the city. And I went to different types of networking events for years. And I learned a lot of things through networking. And so I would like to share some of these 5 tips for networking. And what I'm going to share, it will help you individually. Also, too, it will help you, it'll make you think about maybe of how you relate to people, maybe why you may be connecting or not connecting to others. It'll make you think about ways of how to grow your business or work on yourself personally as that business or ministry owner. All right, so tip number 1, you are the face of your business. Don't forget that. You're the face of your business. Now, at the table, we have higher learning. That's your ministry. You're the face of that. You and your husband are the face. We have Act for the Nations. You are the face of Act for the Nations. You have Agape Doulas. You are the face of Agape Doulas. So you have to remember that when you're out, when you're going out, the first thing people are going to see is you when you're networking. If you're trying to introduce your business, your ministry, or what you do, the first impression is you. You're the representative, and or whoever's connected to you, they're representing. So if you're going into, let's say, a meeting, and let's say you're trying to get some sponsors or some donors, you're not going to just show up in any kind of way. You're going to show up, you're going to be professionally dressed, right? You're going to and you're going to be confident in yourself. And one thing I want to say, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you.
Right.
So let me say that again. If you don't believe in yourself, don't expect anybody else to believe in you. And I have been in situations where I was talking to people about their business and they didn't have a lot of confidence. And they was like, oh, well, take my business card. And I'm like, well, why? Because again, you're not really sure about what you're doing. People, I have learned that people will connect with you before your business.
That's right.
A lot of people don't know that people will connect with you. And when they connect with you, they'll connect with your business. Remember, you are the face of your business. So relationship is key. Connecting with others is key. How do you relate to other people? And again, first impressions are everything. First impressions are everything. Remember, I said, ladies, I went to different types of networking events. There have been some that I have went to where it was kind of business casual, so I dressed business casual. And it's others, I pulled out the most expensive thing I had in my closet. And I did tip time with my makeup, my hair, my dress, my shoes, everything I thought about, because there were certain environments that I had to dress the part, because I realized that first impressions make a difference. And when I say dress, and let me just say this, that was for the various settings, but you might not have a lot or maybe nothing expensive, but whatever you do have, make sure it's nice. Make sure, just think about the person who's going to see you. What impression do you want to make? Does anybody have anything to say about that before I move to number 2?
Yeah, on first impressions. I mean,
Yes.
you only get one chance
Yeah.
to be that first impression.
Yes.
And it really does make a lasting impression. You know, people size you up the minute you walk into a room.
Yes.
And so I try to always be the best dressed person in the room if I'm going into a network place for the
Right.
first time. Because why? Because I will make an impression.
Right.
I think too, Shana, it's important that you have your network speech.
Mhm.
So that you do sound confident, so you know what you're talking about.
Yes.
So you got to practice that. So you walk in there with your elevator speech
Yes.
and you're confident with it.
Yes, that's my number 3 point, but
sorry.
we'll get there. You're right. But I like what you said, the confidence. And as you were speaking, I remember the first day that I met you, I'll never forget. The very first women's meeting I ever had, I never forget Sharon, because the way she walked in. Sharon walked in and she stood out from the rest. It was the way she carried herself. I don't know what you were wearing. I don't know how you had your hair, but it was the way she carried herself that I never forgot to this day. And that's been years ago. Anybody else?
Well, I was listening to Pastor Dallas and her husband, Jonathan, and they were talking about in ministry and business, you got to be excited.
Yeah.
You know, don't lose your joy.
Right.
And a lot of times, you know, if you go into event after event, or you just going, you know, through the routine, you're not, when you're giving that pitch, you have to have the same excitement.
Right.
You have to try to draw people in by you.
Right.
And it's like you're saying, you can't lose that joy. You have to be excited. And I think that excitement brings about that confidence as well, because if you're excited about your vision, it's going to be easier to get others excited about it, or to donate, or to come out if you have that passion for it.
Right. And I like that you said passion, because I remember when you spoke at one of our events, and you too, Naomi, first impressions. I didn't know you. You had came up and did a speech a couple years ago at one of our women's meetings. Didn't know you, but I was so impressed because you were passionate about women's health. And something inside of me said, I need to connect with her, because I felt your passion and you were confident. And same with you. I remember you were one of the speakers years ago, and you walked in with confidence. I said, well, who is this lady? You know, I had met you. I can't remember. I think we met at, I really can't remember, but I had you speak. But from day one, I realized how you carried yourself. People, guess what? Especially us as women, we study each other, don't we?
Yeah.
We look at each other. And it's like there's just certain people that can walk in the room and they're gonna get the attention, you know. So let's move on to number 2 though, because this is good. I have so much to talk about. Look beyond business referrals and find opportunities. Look beyond business referrals and find opportunities. It's not always about business. Learn the value of relationships. I want to say that again, because I have been to so many networking events and been turned off because it was all about support me, support me, support me, support me, support me, support. It's all about me, me, me. When I go, I'm intentionally looking for who I need to connect with. It could be 100 people in the room, but usually in a lot of networking events, I'm only going to connect with a couple, because, and I have a reason for that. That'll be in another talk, but learn the value of relationships, because I have learned that we all have business or ministries in here, but the relationship piece to me matters more than what you do. Right. And because of that, we're able to work together with our businesses and with our ministries, because we know it's not just about business, it's about the relationship. All right. Look to collaborate with other people. Yeah. This is very important. A lot of people don't know how to collaborate with other people, especially people that don't look like them, talk like them, walk like them, grew up like them. If you want to be successful in your business or your ministry, you need to learn to collaborate with other people. Another point I want to make with this is be open to change. A lot of businesses and ministry are not thriving, are not growing to their best potential, because who's ever in control does not want to change. Do you guys have anything to say about this before I move to number 3?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that I've learned in the networking world is that people want to know you care.
Yeah.
before they want to know what your agenda is.
Right.
So when you voice a help or an idea or a way to help the other person,
Mhm.
instead of, as you said, it's not all about me, but if I can look for a way to encourage them or help them in their project,
Mhm.
then they immediately turn around and say, well, what can I do for you?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and so then it becomes a give and take, but
Mhm.
somebody's got to be the one to reach out first.
Right.
And that opens up the doorway, I think,
Yeah.
because they see that you care, you know,
Right.
you're not just there to hand the business card.
Right. Right.
I think too, with the thing about changing, we always have to be adapting to different things. And like now when I go to a lot of networking events, especially with college students and millennials, they don't ask for a business card, they ask what's your Instagram.
Yeah.
So I just think
What's your
about,
Yeah.
what's your handle, or, what's your Twitter, or it's X now, but they want to know what's your social media. Whereas before you had to have that business card
Right.
where people wanted your email and your phone number.
Yeah.
So a lot of ministries and businesses are missing out who don't necessarily see value in social media,
Mm.
because you're literally disconnecting yourself from a whole group of people when you're talking about millennials and Gen Z who like to spend money.
Right.
And it's like, but you don't even have an Instagram where they can follow you or they can
Right.
connect with you. And
Right.
I think that's really changed the game when you're talking about networking. And that's the personal piece too. They want to be on your Instagram because it makes them feel like they get to know you or your company and what you stand for. So it's more likely for them to purchase something from you or attend that event because they have that relationship.
I like that you brought that up because I think we can speak for me and Sharon. We come from an age where we didn't grow up with social media, with internet, with all of these things now. And over the years, we have had to learn to adapt.
Yeah.
And it seems like things are progressing so fast. It's almost hard to keep up
Mhm.
with the new way of doing things. But if we decided not to change or adapt, then we wouldn't thrive.
Right.
We wouldn't thrive. All right. So the next, I got 3 more points and then I'm done. Master your pitch. We talked about this earlier. Practice explaining your business in 30 seconds or less. If you can get it down in 10 seconds, you're doing great. Some of the best reels on Instagram and TikTok
10
are
seconds.
10 seconds or less, right?
People's attention span is just not long.
Right, right. But they still have an attention. You got to get their attention to get business.
Right.
So you got to practice, and that goes back into being the face of your business. If you cannot articulate your business in 10 seconds or less, then you have the potential of missing many people.
So here's the problem
Mhm.
with lots of these pitches, it's what I am.
Mhm.
And that's not the purpose of a pitch.
Right,
Is to talk about the value that you can bring to your customer.
right. Absolutely.
What does the customer need that you got?
Right, right, absolutely. You have to, and even nowadays with these newer people, the millennials and Gen, they are their own brand. You got people making money just being on YouTube and Instagram and all day long, and they're making millions of dollars just being them. But guess what? Even at that, even if if you're the brand, who are you? Describe yourself in 10 seconds or less. I remember back in the day, it was Muhammad Ali. He said, I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I still remember that. If I don't know nothing else, Muhammad Ali is dead and gone. But I remember he float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. So master your pitch. Okay. You are one person away from your breakthrough. Don't miss it. You are one person away from your breakthrough. That's why that pitch is important. If you cannot, you got to be able to pitch your business effectively. You might not know who you're standing in front of in this world. You don't know who is looking to invest and want to invest. But if you don't have your stuff together, you can miss out. That one person can change your life. But if you cannot articulate who you are and what you do, you can miss out on your blessing. Let's move to the next point. Point 4, get out your comfort zone. Get out your comfort zone. Be willing to work with other people outside your circle. I love you guys. I love you guys. We get together a lot, but guess what? Y'all not the only people I associate myself with. I know. Oh. I know.
I'm joking.
We got so much fun in this show, y'all. So much fun. But again, you have to learn to work with people outside of your circle. For me, one of the things that I believe God has blessed me with is I have been able to work with people from all different kind of backgrounds. It doesn't really matter who they are or where they came from. For some reason, I'm able to connect. Everybody can't do that, Naomi. Everybody can't do that. But guess what? If you're stuck in your comfort zone, don't expect to grow.
Yeah.
Just don't expect to grow if you can't get out your comfort zone. Diversity is the spice of life. You need to be able to diversify yourself in your business or your ministry. You have to, and I have a phrase called learn to swim in various ponds. What does that mean? Learn to swim in various ponds. It means that, remember how I said earlier, I have attended different networking events. I went to one yesterday. I'm a part of this organization called the General Women's Federation Association. I might be messing the name up. I'm a new member. Don't. I'm like a new 1 year member. But it's called the Women's Club, the Orange Park Women's Club Association. That's what I'm a part of. But it's a part of a bigger association called the General Federation of Women, which is one of the oldest women organizations in the United States of America. I'm a part of that. Well, that pond there, the pond there looks a little bit different than the well, right? So the well is a organization that we oversee. But the women's organization is more older ladies. It's more local people in that area. But I love it. I love it. I have attended that meeting. I have attended a meeting in Palaca. Same type of thing, different pond. I have went to networking events out at the beach. Very nice stuff. I have been to the Russian church. I have been to, you name it, I have. If you invite me to it, I'm pretty much gonna go. I've been to country concerts, and I've been to, when I say concert and collaborating with people who, let's say, do country music. So what I'm saying is you need to learn how to swim in different ponds. If you look at a lot of the successful people of this world, they have incorporated a lot of what I'm talking about because they're able to reach beyond their comfort zone and beyond their circle. Lastly, I'm wrapping up. Find what circle works best for you. Find regular networking groups that fits what you're doing. This is one thing I believe though. I might can go to different things, but I'm not going to connect with everybody. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You cannot connect with everybody.
No.
You need to find what works for you.
Yes.
All right. And find a group that you can grow from and learn from. I'm talking about business networking. One thing that I like about these talks is that I always learn something new when we come together. I can grow with these women.
Mhm.
So I enjoy fellowshipping with them and being with them. I try to associate myself or be around people that are at least trying to do something and go somewhere.
Mhm.
If they're not, then that's not really working for me right now. Not to say that I'm talking about business networking and ministry. I try to find, the popular word is your tribe. Or I just try to find what works for me, and you have to do what works for you. So in closing, ladies, do you have any final comments or thoughts on this topic of 5 tips for business networking?
I would tell young women, millennials, Gen Z, is that we don't know it all and we don't have to know it all. I think, like you said, finding groups that help you grow, you'll get certain women and certain people in those groups that'll stretch you, that'll challenge you. And I think that's a great place to be. You know, you don't always want to be somewhere where you're kind of the cream of the crop or you're the top, because you want to be able to learn from people around you.
Absolutely,
I think you can't find a mentor unless you get out of the house.
absolutely. And everybody can't mentor you.
That's right.
Everybody can't mentor you.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And I think these last 2 points, Shana, are combined. You do have to get out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
And you've got to go places that you're uncomfortable and you're not sure even your pitch is going to work in that environment.
Right,
But you have to try it or you'll never know whether it's going to be successful or not.
right.
And the more you try, the more you learn. And
Mhm.
you do find, what works for you and, what benefits you
Mhm.
or what benefits the other person. There's got to be a reason because
Right.
we're all busy. We don't have
Mhm.
time to go something that's not going to benefit us or that we're not going to be able to give out, in that
Mhm.
environment.
Right.
So I think it's important that we do the homework.
Yeah.
And as you said, go around and try different things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try different things, be willing to learn things. And my prayer is that we all grow. We all want to do better. So I promise, if you incorporate these 5 tips into your business or ministry, you will see a change and you will see growth. Thank you for joining us today. Leave your feedback and comments in the chat. Thank you for joining us.